From space, our planet looks like a blue marble. This is because of the Earth's atmosphere. This thin layer of gas surrounds our planet. It's crucial for life. Without it, Earth would be a very different place. The atmosphere is a mixture of gases. The most common are nitrogen and oxygen. There are also small amounts of other gases like argon and carbon dioxide. This mix is essential for life. The atmosphere doesn't have a sharp edge. It gets thinner the farther you travel from Earth. Eventually it fades into the emptiness of space. This fragile layer is all that stands between us and the harshness of space. One of the most important things the atmosphere does is provide oxygen. This invisible gas is crucial for the survival of almost all living organisms on Earth. Without it, life as we know it would cease to exist. Humans and animals need oxygen to breathe. Every breath we take fills our lungs with this life-sustaining element, allowing our bodies to function properly. Plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. They absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen, maintaining the balance of gases in the atmosphere. This balance is essential for life as we know it. Without plants, the oxygen levels would deplete, making it impossible for animals and humans to survive. The atmosphere also helps regulate Earth's temperature. It acts as a blanket, trapping some of the sun's heat and keeping our planet warm. It traps some of the sun's heat, preventing extreme temperature fluctuations that could be harmful to life. This keeps our planet warm enough to support life. Without this natural insulation, Earth would be too cold for most forms of life to thrive. Without the atmosphere, Earth would be much colder, like the Moon. The Moon, lacking an atmosphere, experiences extreme temperatures, making it inhospitable. The atmosphere also protects us from harmful radiation from the Sun. It acts as a shield, absorbing and reflecting dangerous solar radiation. The ozone layer, a part of the atmosphere, absorbs most of the Sun's ultraviolet radiation. This layer is crucial for protecting life on Earth. Ultraviolet radiation can cause skin cancer and other health problems. The ozone layer's protection is vital for our health and well-being. Without the atmosphere, life on Earth wouldn't exist as it does. The delicate balance of gases and temperature regulation is what makes our planet habitable. It's a delicate balance that we need to protect. Preserving our atmosphere is essential for the continued survival of all life on Earth. Imagine a world without sound. No birds singing, no wind whistling, no voices to be heard. This is what would happen if Earth lost its atmosphere. Sound waves need a medium to travel. This medium is usually air, which makes up our atmosphere. When something vibrates, it creates sound waves. These waves travel through the air to our ears. Without air, there would be no sound. Even if you were standing right next to someone, you wouldn't be able to hear them speak. The silence would be deafening. This eerie silence would be one of the most immediate and noticeable effects of losing our atmosphere. The atmosphere acts like a blanket around Earth. It keeps the temperature relatively stable. Without it, we would experience extreme temperature swings between day and night. During the day, the sun's rays would beat down on the Earth's surface. With no atmosphere to filter the heat, temperatures would soar incredibly high. Imagine deserts hotter than the hottest places on Earth right now. As soon as the sun set, the temperature would plummet. Without the atmosphere to trap any heat, the surface would cool down rapidly. We would experience freezing temperatures, even in areas that are normally warm. These extreme temperature swings would make it impossible for most life forms to survive. Section 5. Water. Water, nowhere boiling and freezing. Water is essential for life, but without an atmosphere, the fate of our oceans and rivers would be dire. The lack of atmospheric pressure would have a dramatic effect on water's boiling point. With lower pressure, water boils at a lower temperature. Without the atmosphere, the boiling point of water would drop significantly. Our oceans, lakes, and rivers would start to boil away. However, this boiling wouldn't last forever. As the water vapor escaped into space, the remaining water would freeze. The extreme cold of space would turn Earth's surface into a giant ice ball. This cycle of boiling and freezing would leave Earth a barren wasteland, devoid of the life-giving liquid water. Section 6, Life's Last Gasp, the Extinction Event. Imagine a world where the very air we breathe is stripped away, leaving behind a barren and desolate landscape. The loss of atmosphere would trigger a mass extinction event unlike anything Earth has ever seen. Forests would wither and die, leaving behind nothing but cracked earth and skeletal remains of once thriving ecosystems. Most life forms would perish quickly due to the lack of oxygen, extreme temperatures, and other catastrophic effects. Plants would wither, unable to photosynthesize, and animals would collapse, gasping for the last breath of air. Without oxygen to breathe, humans and animals would suffocate within minutes. The struggle for air would be brief, but agonizing as lungs desperately try to find oxygen that no longer exists. The sudden change in pressure would also cause internal organs to rupture, leading to a swift and painful death. The human body, unprepared for such drastic changes, would fail catastrophically. Marine life wouldn't fare much better. Fish and other sea creatures would be left gasping as the water around them becomes uninhabitable. The boiling oceans would kill most marine animals. The once vibrant underwater world would turn into a boiling cauldron of death. Even creatures living in the deepest parts of the ocean would eventually succumb to the lack of oxygen and the changing water chemistry. The deep-sea sanctuaries would no longer be safe havens. The few organisms that might survive initially, like extremophiles that can tolerate harsh conditions, would eventually die out. Even the hardiest bacteria would find the new environment too hostile to endure. Without a functioning biosphere, Earth would become a silent and lifeless rock. The planet that once teemed with life would be reduced to a barren wasteland, a stark reminder of the fragility of our existence. Section 7. A barren world, unfiltered radiation. The atmosphere acts as a shield, protecting us from harmful radiation from the sun. Without it, we would be bombarded with deadly cosmic rays. The sun constantly emits radiation, including ultraviolet radiation. Ultraviolet radiation can damage DNA, leading to mutations, cancer, and other health problems. The ozone layer in our atmosphere absorbs most of this harmful radiation. Without the atmosphere, the full force of the sun's radiation would reach the Earth's surface. This radiation would sterilize the planet, making it impossible for life to evolve again. The Earth's surface would become a desolate wasteland, stripped of its protective layer and exposed to the harsh realities of space. Section 8. Our call to action: protecting our precious atmosphere. The consequences of losing our atmosphere are too dire to ignore. Our atmosphere is a delicate shield that protects us from harmful solar radiation and helps regulate our climate. Without it, life as we know it would cease to exist. We must act now to protect this precious layer that sustains all life on Earth. Every action we take today can make a significant difference in preserving our environment for future generations. While the scenario of completely losing our atmosphere is unlikely, it highlights the importance of atmospheric protection. Scientists around the world are working tirelessly to monitor and understand the changes in our atmosphere. Human activities such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation are polluting our atmosphere and contributing to climate change. These activities release greenhouse gases that trap heat and disrupt weather patterns. These actions have real and lasting consequences for our planet. We are already witnessing the effects, such as melting polar ice caps, rising sea levels, and more frequent severe weather events. We must transition to cleaner energy sources, reduce our carbon footprint, and protect our forests. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind power offer sustainable alternatives to fossil fuels. We need to support policies that promote sustainability and hold polluters accountable. Advocacy and legislation play crucial roles in driving the change we need to see. The future of our planet depends on it. By taking action now, we can ensure a healthier, more sustainable world for our children and grandchildren. Let's work together to ensure that Earth remains a vibrant and habitable home for generations to come. Every small effort counts, and together we can make a big